morning.
And I learned a lot looking through this. John, your gut reaction to kit car.
Bring a trailer park.
Whoa. Whoa. It comes out swinging. Yes. This is a Chevy V8 powered Lamborghini Diablo replica 5-speed. It's parked in front of a replica White House.
Yes.
Take a good look at this. This is a real Diablo. This is a fake Diablo. You're probably thinking about kit cars and fake Lamborghinis all wrong. Welcome back to Bid Left Nut. This is the show where we analyze car auctions, ultimately trying to answer the question, what would you bid your left nut for? No fake Lamborghini is going to change your life. Yes, we're going to talk about cars other than fake Lamborghinis. We've got tips, tricks, and some idiot commentary about the cars we're going to look at today. And keep an eye out for what I believe is the best fake Lamborghini I've seen in a long, long time. Let's go. Welcome to Bid Left Nut, the game show, talk show, YouTube channel where we talk about car auctions, car values, and we make predictions on them. You can play along at home. My name is Stace, and I'm joined by longshoreman John. John, how are you today?
It's me, Stace, Johnny Miata. I'm just in my Halloween costume from last week.
Good, good. John's in the basement. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do an auction roundup to see how close we made predictions on two previous cars. And we're going to end the show with the best fake Lamborghini I have seen in a long time. And we're going to dive into a 2007 Honda S2000, a really beautiful 997.1 911. We've got a Toyota Tacoma that we're going to talk about. We have a 1966 Chevelle, which John and I each have a connection. It might be slightly different for each of us. There's a 40th anniversary SL500 that we're going to dive into.
That's a lot of show.
Oh, you bet. We're going to jump right in and talk about results from previous predictions. All right. So the first car we're going to look at is a 7,000 mile GT auctioned off last week or maybe a week and a half ago. And I predicted that this was going to go for 475 and it ended up closing at 456. So I was only 6 or 7% off. The issue with this car, John, I don't know if you saw this or you watched the video that I so painstakingly created, is that the photography is awful.
We've talked about bad photography before. And so my question to you is, do you think that there's a need in the marketplace for professional automotive photographers?
But they exist. Even if you bring a trailer, they can send somebody out to you. I mean, we've solved this problem already. But this car,
Plus, even iPhones can take incredible photographs if you stage them correctly. And this is not staged correctly.
Can you see these big handprints? It looks like it was dusty and somebody tried wiping it off. But this, I know the paint is not bubbling, but it actually looks like the paint is bubbling.
Yeah, it also looks like it's swirled and messy, although not in these shots.
Take some photos inside, then he takes it outside again where it looks awful.
Do you think that the substandard photographs affected the closing price?
I do. So when I was looking at comps for a 7,000 mile car, this car has no issues other than the photography. I think this thing should have gone for at least another 20, 25. It should be a little bit closer to 500.
Interesting. Okay. And where was this car located?
In a hangar.
At an airport.
I want to say Texas, Arizona.
Arizona. It's the Texas of the West.
It certainly is. I dropped those bids on BidFinite, which is a fantasy gaming platform where you can make predictions on car auctions. So I put that there just to keep myself honest. Okay, so this GT, not the cleanest example, but I still have to ask, what do you give for this car?
I understand there's some minor flaws with this Ford GT, but overall, always going to be a movie star, right? I think I would go one nut, not both.
Totally with you. This is a one nut car. A fake Lamborghini built on a Fiero.
What do we call this car? Is it Pantagini?
That's the new name.
I love it.
Pantagini. If you don't know, there were a number of kit car companies making fake Lamborghinis out of Fieros. I think they might also make Testarossas. I made a prediction on this last week. I thought this car was coming in at around 15.9, closed at 12,250. So I was off by about 30%.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Reserving judgment basically right now, because I have opinions, but let's hear about this car. And I know that you already went through it and we're just sort of recapping, but who did this?
Yeah. So this was a kit car company, and I don't actually know the name of the kit car company. I don't think it's referenced here. It's gone through quite a few hands. It's a little bit chingad, as we would say in Italian American English. Chingad just means the thing's kind of a little bit disheveled. It's not the prettiest car on the inside or underneath.
Really the prettiest car on the outside either, but
I think it's bad.
Ooh, that's a bad angle. That's like double chin angle.
I think this is bad.
That's not good.
I think this is a decent looking car. And if you saw this in Cars and Coffee, I think you would, ironically, you would pat the guy in the back.
Do you believe that the owner is fooling anyone?
Wait, is the owner fooling any car people?
Definitely not, right? I mean, all kidding aside for a moment, I'm going to give you like a quick 30-second story, but the most attention I've ever received driving an automobile was a Porsche Speedster replica, and not like a back or like one of the good ones. This was the flared fender, golden nugget American racing wheels. It was a turd of a kit car. And when I tell you, people were jumping in front of it to get pictures of it. And while I don't particularly like this one because I don't think the proportions are right, I'm sure if you were looking for attention, this is the car that you would buy because people would lose their minds over it.
Johnny, moment of truth, the Pontaghini. Are you giving it one nut? No nuts? What do you think?
No nuts. Pontaghini, no nuts.
All right. Good. I'm going to give it the same. I'm going to give it no nuts.
All right. So next up, we're going to look at a Honda ST.
Straight off of Cars and Bids. What we're looking at is a 2007. This is an AP2 car, which means that it was the facelifted car. It had the revised suspension components and the engine had a little bit more torque. But I'm going to ask you, John, this car traded torque for revs. So now it doesn't redline at 9,000 RPMs. It redlines at like 82. Would you trade the torque for the RPMs or would you want that screaming 4-cylinder?
I'd rather have the revs. I mean, that's what Honda's known for. That's where the enjoyment lies, more revs. But that's my opinion.
I agree. Because this car is not a torque monster to begin with. So the little bit of extra drivability, I think you would really miss the big smile on your face when you got this thing bouncing off of redline at 9,000 RPM. I was not a fan of these when they came out. Did you like these? I mean, because at the time you were driving Miatas. So did this car look like a Miata's big brother? Or?
No, and it's worth noting that I am a Honda guy. There's been Hondas in my family since 1977 when I was 4 years old. So we have had Hondas forever, and I'm a big fan of Hondas. However, I didn't really see the point. They were like twice the price of a Miata, and I understand that they had more power and all of that, but I didn't really get it. But 20 years later, it's so simple and it is so elemental that I totally love them now, even if I didn't when they were.
I feel the same way. Like I had zero love for these when they came out, and again, I thought it was the driving experience. I think I drove one once. And I know everybody has said something similar, is that unless you're winding it out, it feels like a really nice Civic at the time.
Right. It's a little sterile, like low revs, just driving it like a human being getting to work. So let's talk about this specific car for a moment, like this one. I did a little research. We had talked about it a little bit before the show. When I initially looked at this car, it's beautiful, right? I mean, it's got low miles. It's got all its VIN tags. It's got nothing on the Carfax. All of it seems to say that this is a low mileage cream puff perfect S2000. And the current bid, if I recall correctly, it's about $23,000. So now I'm thinking, wow, that's a bargain. Except
if you're finding these auction insights helpful, give us a thumbs up. It'll help other people find this video.
Start going into the comments. And this is where if you're looking for a car, the comments are gold. People start noticing the orange peel and the overspray. And more people start talking about it until the seller has to disclose the fact that this car's been repainted.
Right.
We don't know why, but at some point in its life, with however many miles, 39,000 miles on it, the car has received a complete respray, and we don't know why. So that's, to me, a red flag, not just because of the color of the car.
You're with the zingers today, man.
I am. I've had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm extra. But the other part of this, now I went through the Carfax because I wanted to see, all right, respray, can I figure out why? And I couldn't. But the next thing that you see in its history is somehow it went through 2 sets of tires in like a 3-month period, which is alarming, to me at least. Why? Yeah. So it's a nice car and it presents so well. But it now has these question marks surrounding it that makes me wonder what it's going to sell for, what it's going to close at.
Yeah, that's the issue, is that it started off nice and friendly here in the comment section, and the seller was actively involved. And then somebody asked the question about the rear bumper. It started there, and somebody's like, oh, the rear bumper looks like it might have been resprayed. And I can't remember if the seller chimed in then, but eventually, drips and drabs, the truth starts to come out. And that is awful for an auction because, you know, the trust erodes very quickly. And what you're left with, a big bag of question mark.
It's worth noting that the current owner has had it for 6 months.
You know, so you mentioned the tires. There was something else, and this guy here, Slow 500, he echoes my exact sentiment, where the seller claims that he's selling the car because his wife is going to have a baby soon. Congratulations, guys. But, you know, it takes 9 months. So I'm just wondering, like, did he not know his wife was pregnant? I mean, it just doesn't seem like a story that holds water.
I'm like, hopefully.
I know. I'm going to go.
Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. It's low hanging fruit. I think this is going to impact the closing price. Do you agree?
Agree. Absolutely. We had a couple of comps, if we want to look at those. just for comparison. So recently, like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, this 32,000 mile 2004 closed on Bring a Trailer at $28,000. This car, I believe, I didn't do as much research here as on our subject car, but I don't think this has any stories to it or any question marks, any clouds over its provenance. It's also coming from 1600 Veloce, who is well respected in the BAT community.
Who, by the way, knows how to take photographs.
This car, how many miles does this have on it? 32,000. So it's a little bit lower than our subject car.
Yep.
Sold for 28.
All right. So that's interesting. You can argue color combo, but classic black, right? I mean, it's their videos, by the way, even on, like sold cars, but I could fall asleep to their videos. The ASMR clicking of the doors and the switch gear, some of my favorite content on YouTube. I mean, second to this, obviously. We have other comp, or at least one more.
One more comp. This 43,000 miles. So this is actually closer to our subject car, which had, it has 39,000. So this car is 43. It sold mid-October on Bring a Trailer in Tennessee. Again, I don't think there are any stories to this. I think the interior on this, that blue leather, I think is gorgeous. You and I, we've talked about blue interiors.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I like that it's uncommon color and color combination.
Right, me too. So, but I think it is going to come down to color. So whether we say paint is going to be an issue here, I think my feeling is I think this car has some pluses to it. It has recent service, it has a new set of tires, it has relatively low miles, and there are plenty of videos. So there's no fear that this car doesn't run as it should, doesn't shift well. The things that we're unsure about are the respray, the quick turnover, and I know you're not going to argue over this, but let me cue this up. The air freshener. I hate air freshener.
My goodness. I literally wrote in my notes the felony forest because that's what I call the little tree, especially when there's multiples. Somebody actually asked, does this car smell like smoke in the comments? And I didn't understand because I was like, it's a convertible. What are you talking about? And then I saw the black ice trees and I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Smells like a 16-year-old boy, apparently. Anyhow,
I don't know what to make of that.
Why is this weird now? Do you want to put a number on this car?
Yeah, 28.5.
Damn it.
What?
All right. So now I'm going to give you a little bit more because I was going to say 28.5.
No. This isn't, well, it is a competition, but I think we're aligned on this. So tell me why you think it's 28.5 when these other guys are in the same area, but probably better cars.
All right. So I can't exactly tell you what the most important reason for my somewhat low prediction is, but one of the reasons is we're now headed into mid-November. So there's a large part of the population in this country that's like, I'm not buying a convertible right now, then I got to store it all winter. So you tend to get bigger bargains, at least in my opinion, in November. The second thing is it's had a full respray. And I don't know that I would buy a car for this much money with such low miles, but has been resprayed. It's just weirds me out. You see a lot of orange peel. And the third thing is, why did it go through 2 sets of tires in such a short period of time?
They were having fun.
As a nice driver, I think 28.5 is the number, and we'll see in a day or two, right?
I have a feeling it's not going to make reserve, but I think this dude should take the money and run. This car will never not have this story attached to it. Johnny, how do you feel about this S2000? And now that we know all the details and the untold paint issue, is this worth anything to you?
You know, States, when I first looked at this car, I was all in. Both nuts, the whole thing. I don't know that I would bid on this car. I think I would pass and try to find a cleaner one that I absolutely know the history of. Do I see one in my garage one day? Yes, I do. And in that case, yeah, it is definitely not worthy.
All right. I'm going to disagree with you here. I don't think it's nutworthy. Sorry to all the 1,000 fanboys out there. I'm keeping my testes.
I do. All right. So this is a car that I chose. Chris and I have talked a lot about Porsche 911s, but we're going to throw everything we've said in the past out the window because this is one of my favorite 911s ever.
Sit on P-Car Marketplace.
So this is a 2005 997 Carrera S. First year of the 997. I picked it for a number of reasons, not least of which is the 7,800 miles on this car.
Yeah.
When we talk about collectible cars that maintain their value and presumably increase in value, a low mileage Porsche 911 is kind of the gold standard. You and I have talked about this at length, and at times we've actually poked fun at the Porsche cult, if you will.
Well, former Porsche owners. I'm like, we're jealous shouting from the sidelines. I mean, you and I have been in the game.
I can speak out of both sides of my mouth when it comes to Porsche ownership, because the other side of the cult is when you're talking about a sports car that you want to live with and drive and actually use. And when you get into the garage, you want it to start and perform the way you expect it to. A manual transmission 997 Carrera S in this stunning color. It is Atlas gray, which at times looks very gray and at times looks very dark blue.
If you haven't seen it in person, if somebody hasn't seen it in person, do not judge this color without seeing it. It's incredible the way it changes color in the light.
Slightly more controversial aspect of this car are the lobster claw wheels. I personally love them, but I know so many people that would just throw them in the trash.
Actually, it's lobster fork.
Lobster fork, not claw?
Yeah, claws don't look like that. A lobster fork looks like that.
Amazing. Yeah, see, I knew.
My 997 had the turbo wheels. I think those look so much better on this car.
Can agree to disagree. The rest of the options, the way this car is specced out is sort of my dream spec. First off, manual transmission, so amazing. I love how understated this car is. And I feel like this is the forever car. You can drive this today, tomorrow, 20 years from now. It is classic 911.
It's 8,000 miles. And the appeal of this car is that it's low miles. And then once you, I mean, everything you're saying is true. It's a wonderful daily driver. It's a wonderful daily sports car. But are you going to drive this?
I could definitely see buying this and driving it as a semi-daily and putting miles on it, but knowing that depending on what it sells for, I could drive it for 10 years, 15 years, and probably get out of it whatever it is that I have into it.
Couple of things. So again, I'll mention Atlas Gray. I think it's maybe my favorite color on a 997. I like the low miles. I wanted to show you the photo like this. So even though it has low miles, it has some interior flaws. And this is not a case of the owner mistreating the car. That soft touch finish is so delicate. But the reason that even though I'm showing you this, is that there isn't a ton of it where you'd expect it to be. Around the key, the door handles are a little, have a little bit of it, but the car is in really great shape. It also has Apple CarPlay. And I don't say this because I love Apple CarPlay. I say that because I hated the original stereo in that car. I think it was just so outdated for even at the time. Did you see the DME report on this? Super clean.
We just looked at an S2000 that looked super clean. And then when you did a little bit of research, you started to have some questions and concerns, right? Mm-hmm. This car is exactly what you would suspect of a low mileage, well-maintained classic automobile. There's no skeletons in the closet.
And here's a way to tell if there are skeletons in the closet. So the DME report, it's broken down into 6 ranges. This is to tell if it's been over revved, and range 1 over revs aren't a big deal. Obviously 6, that's when things start to become catastrophic. And somewhere in the middle here is where you might find a car that's, I wouldn't say beaten on. I would say a car that's been thoroughly enjoyed. They might have some in the 3 or 4 range. This car only has 6 ignitions over its rev. That's incredibly minor. So that's like maybe just hitting the rev limiter several times. That's a really good sign. So something about this car that makes me hesitate is that with this low kind of mileage, it's going to go up into 997.2 territory price-wise. And at that point, I think I would still take the facelifted 997.2, better engine, LED lights, a few other creature comforts inside that are improved. And this car doesn't have sport chrono.
No, it does not. I noticed that as well.
I prefer the look of the non-sport chrono cars, but it doesn't come with the sport button, which advances the throttle response.
Yeah, I think it's a question, at least for me, of if it doesn't have it and I'm not used to it, will I really miss it? And one of the things that I really like about this spec and the fact that it's a .1 is its simplicity, right? That dash looks so clean. It's never going to look, it's certainly never going to look dated. Oh, wait a minute. It's not going to look dated because they've already upgraded the entertainment, right? And I think it's going to age really well. It already has, right? This is a car from 2005. It's 20 years old.
I want to show you how we can tell how well it has aged. I want to look at photo 12. This photo right here. So this photo explains or demonstrates to me how this car has not only aged well, but how it continued traditional 911 visual identity. So a couple of things here. This slope of the roof combined with this triangle of the rear window, that is classic 911. This curve right in front of the wheel and the distance between the wheel and the door. I look at this and I think that this is a car that is going to be impossible to improve upon its design. I think the 997s are close to the top of the best looking 911s ever. After this, I think they get big and bloated and
You took the words right out of my mouth. The 997 is the last of the diminutive 911s. And I think that's going to keep these cars in the collector's minds forever. And the fact that it's a manual, right? I mean, this is golden age of driving.
Do you want to see a couple of comps?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So on Halloween, just last week, because today we're recording this on November 5th, we had a 42,000 mile 05 S Coupe 6-speed sell on Bring a Trailer for an insane amount of money, according to me, $76,000. I think
$6,000. And forgive me because you just said it. How many miles?
42,000. Typically, a car with 42,000 miles would sell in this range of, well, this is a cab, so it's going to sell for a little bit less. Let's say 55 to 60 if it had 40,000 miles. But this car had a terracotta interior, and I think that was one of the things that boosted its price. If you wanted a terracotta interior car with white exterior, this was the car. I don't think there are many of these made. I think it's striking.
Do you like the terracotta? That was going to be my next question.
I think it's like for me, it's like mustard. I really don't like the taste of mustard, but I appreciate what it does to a meal. I don't necessarily love this color, but I can appreciate the vibrancy of it. I can appreciate the rarity of it. I can appreciate how it makes an interesting package of the white exterior, the terracotta interior. What about you?
I think it's the only way I would get a white car is if it had something interesting in the interior. I mean, would I prefer there was a dark green that Porsche had for years, and I don't remember if it's on a 997 or not, but yeah, I kind of like the dark green. We've talked about navy, but terracotta is up there because beggars can't be choosers. We're buying used cars at the end of the day. I can't exactly spec it out if I'm looking at condition over options.
You and I go down rabbit holes. We forget that we're actually looking at this car here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But when we're talking, and we'll get to this car in a moment and what we think it's going to sell for, right? But as that comp, it sold for $77,000. It had 42,000 miles on it, and it had a fun interior color. The cab that you also pulled up, 34,000, so a little less miles. Cab's kind of hard because it's not an apples to apples.
I think we would take maybe 8 to 12% off when we're talking about a cab, just because they are not as desirable as the coupes. It's missing its cover for the tow hook. Why would you not replace that?
I mean, you could take a day, do that, then take your pictures and be ahead of the game.
Right, because they're decent photos.
Do you want to provide the estimate first?
Yes.
Or do you want me to? Okay, tell me. What do you think it's going to go for?
I think it's going for 73. Here's where we are right now. We're at 44. It ends in a day or so.
I think it's going for 80.
Whoa!
But I think it's got crazy low miles. Such a beautiful spec. You're right. It's missing the chrono.
I like that it had the rear wiper.
Same. I love the rear wiper. It is functional and it kind of looks cool to me.
All right. Here's one thing when the platform makes a difference. In my experience, I've seen key car marketplace not quite bring the traffic that Bring a Trailer does. I wonder if this is going to go into the deal tank after, but I think the high bid's going to get to 73. You think 80. So Johnny Miata, the question now for this 911 is, what would you give for it?
I not only would bid both of mine, I'd probably borrow yours as well. I love this car.
I agree. I'm only speaking about my own attachment, especially in Atlas Gray. I just love that color. And again, if you haven't seen it in person, you owe it to yourself. All right. We have something special next.
And I think this is sort of the wild card of the bunch here.
For this one, we travel to the bowels of the internet, eBay. We've got a 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road pickup looking handsome in what I call Beetle Bailey green.
I love this color.
Yeah, tell me about this because I know zero about Flex.
And so what we have here is FlexDream. And you just said you don't know a lot about FlexDream. Had you ever heard of Flex before seeing this Tacoma?
Oh, I've not.
Flex was founded in 1967. And in the modern day, Flex or FlexDream in Japan are known for restoring Land Cruisers and Toyota trucks of all kinds back to their former glory. They became so popular that in the last few years, they've opened up a store in the United States. This one is in San Diego. And they are offering this Tacoma, which is a TRD Pro. They've gone through the whole thing, and you have to assume that it is in as good of a condition as you can find for a 2021 Tacoma. I personally love this color. I love this spec. I love the wheel and tire package with the KO3s. I think this thing is done really, really well. The bidding is currently at about $21,000, and they have a buy it now price for $42,700.
What's the retail?
Yeah, if it wasn't being sold by Flex, and maybe it had the original TRD wheels, or looking it up on like KBB and some other places that you would go to see a modern value of a vehicle, book value is about $35,000. Knowing the provenance of Flex, just based on what I've told you, would you pay a premium just to know that Flex put their hands on it? And the
Listen,
premium we're talking about is about $7,000, which is not chump change.
well, I don't think 7 is worth it. I added a few $1,000s onto the retail resale of this, and I'm coming in at 39. This is a good looking truck, and it's done.
All right, I don't disagree with that. 37? I just can't get to the 42, almost $43,000 that they would like to see out of this truck. I would much rather buy my own from CarMax somewhere else, do a
Mhm.
wheel and tire package, and then have enough money left over to also do a minor suspension.
That's you though.
That is me. I think other enthusiasts, other folks that love Toyota trucks and are looking at a Tacoma like this might agree with me. And we're going to find out.
So, Tacoma in green, fancy hubcaps.
I would give my left nut for a really clean, really nice Tacoma.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going. You came out strong on that one. No nuts on this. When it comes to Toyota trucks, first gen or second gen, Forerunner. Other than that, no nuts. Okay. Next up is a car that takes me and John back to our high school days, coming to us from Haggerty. It's a modified 1966 Chevelle Malibu Sport Coupe. It wears a 396 badge up front, Super Sport badge in the rear. Clearly, it's not either of those things. In high school, my brother had almost this exact same car. His car actually had the 396 in it, though. And John worked with my brother at a gas station of all places.
I remember the first day I worked at that gas station. I remember meeting your brother, and it definitely took a while to connect the dots because you and your brother, even to this day, are very different people. I'm more afraid of your brother than anything else, even after all these years. It's amazing how many memories can flood back. This car was fast.
It was frighteningly fast. I don't know if those cars, and again, I'm remembering back from high school, if those cars were genuinely fast or if it just felt frightening because like it wasn't connected to the road in any meaningful way. You were going sideways if you weren't going.
Things are going to feel faster if you can't stop sufficiently.
That's right. And speaking of drums, so this car has drums in the rear, but it has discs up front, which was an option on these cars. So they came from the factory with drums at all four corners.
Man, I'd love to take a ride in this car. I would love, I don't know that I want to buy it. I don't know if there's a left nut in my bidding.
What did you like about this car?
I like the nostalgia factor. I liked the nostalgia factor.
You don't sound like a fan. Okay, so I got to tell you, there were a couple of positives. I thought the engine bay was nice and tidy. I liked that it came with some spare parts. I like that the discs up front might help you stop a little bit quicker. I like the stainless steel gas tank. I thought that was a nice touch. There are a few things missing with this car, however. So when you typically buy a car, especially if you're buying a piece of American muscle, you know what engine is driving the thing.
The displacement.
Finished in red, powered by a modified small block Chevy V8 of unknown displacement.
There's no replacement for unknown displacement.
I guess so.
Fine. We don't know the displacement, but surely we know how many gears the transmission has.
Well, you would hope, but apparently this one is reportedly has a 2-speed power glide. Does something not own this? Was it lost and found? I mean, like, why isn't anybody asking that in the comment?
Allegedly, this car shifts twice. Well, really once. I mean, what is the bidding up to for this car that has an unknown engine and transmission?
$17,250.
That's a lot of money for not knowing.
Correct.
It's a lot of money for ignorance.
Yes, I agree. The one question that's in the comments is inappropriate. It says, "What is your reserve amount?"
Yeah, that guy's not buying. If you're asking, you're not buying. So go away. Like, yeah, I agree.
I looked at some comps, and I would have said this thing should have sold for in the $30,000 range. But one thing is going to hold it back, in my opinion. The left rear tire has a leak.
Yeah, and those tires are literally, that's like the font from 3 generations ago. I have to believe they're like early to mid 90s radial TAs.
I think I had these tires on my pickup truck in high school. I think these are the same tires I had.
Yeah, and we referenced Golden Nuggets before, the American racing wheels that I believe you had on that same pickup truck. Awesome.
Yeah. The 80s were a good time. My prediction is going to be $26,500.
It's so funny. I had 28. I have $28,000. And although I think that's optimistic, it's not an SS. It's not a 396. We don't even know what it is, which is kind of funny. But on the plus sides, it does look rust free. That engine bay, you're right, is very, very clean and tidy. But a lot of questions, right? Like, has it been off the road for a long time? Maybe I'm down to 25.
Well, all right, man. You're sitting in your backyard. You hear a rumble coming down the street. Turns out it's the Chevelle. The guy wants to sell it to you. Would you give a nut for this car?
I think I would have to send the pain below. But if you don't know that reference, I'm not going to explain it to you. No nuts on the Chevelles. It's nice. Wouldn't be a Bid Left Nut episode if we didn't talk about Bruno Sacco in some capacity. And so what we have here is a 1997 SL500, but it is kind of exclusive.
Exclusive. We've got a 97 Mercedes SL500 40th anniversary edition. This was another pick by John. John, nice of you to travel to the less used auction platforms to bring us an example.
Yeah, I was trying to mix it up a little bit. And as well as I said earlier, trying to get that 3-car solution, right? But what 3 cars would make me happy as a car enthusiast? I came up with this car, which is a 97 L500. It is a limited edition. It's the one of 500 anniversary editions. Honestly, I picked it because I like the color, which is a little cheesy, but I'll take it. I don't always pick cars that are lowered, but I don't know. There's something about the look of this that seemed to work. This is not, unlike the 911 that had 7,800 miles on it, this one has 62,000 miles. So this is a used car. It is well used. And when you go through the pictures, you see it's got some flaws, definitely. It is the last of the Sacco cars in a rare color, in a rare spec.
I don't like those wheels. Sorry. I like the monoblocks.
I like the monoblocks as well. These are the Evo 2 wheels, I believe, and I would probably swap them out. But I also don't like how low this car is. I would probably raise it up a little bit. It is on H&R. I think it's H&R coilovers.
I don't think the height fits the stature of the car. Because this car is so iconic, I think it just looks broken.
Agreed. And the price of entry is relatively low compared to what you get.
It's relatively low as long as you've purchased one that's been sorted.
Agreed. There's no such thing as a cheap Mercedes. We all know that. 62,000 miles. There's some service history there. It's got the hardtop. This is, again, a well-spec'd car. But the $64,000 question is, what do you think it's going to go for?
The car's had its top hydraulic cylinders rebuilt, which is not crazy expensive, but it's super necessary for the top to function, or else these cylinders leak. Top module has been replaced. There have been a few good pieces of service done recently.
Even in an auction, this color, or I never realized that it was only 508. So I don't know what the second color was. That's something that somebody can put down in the comments, though.
Well, they can help us out, yeah. This is a strange way to describe the wheels. It says almost no wear or rash on the face or lips. Either is or it isn't.
What else do you like about this car?
I really like the paint. So it looks very deep. It's not as nice as Mazda Soul Red, but it's a good looking paint. Not in some of these photos, though.
I'll give them credit for trying, right? There's some artistic photos that didn't quite work.
There's some scratches. Where were they?
Oh, I believe on the top, there's some pretty deep scratches. I think it's on the top anyway.
There's definitely a dent in the hardtop. Oh, we should mention that. It comes with the hardtop and the hardtop stand, which is always something good to have with your SL. So yeah, there's a dent right there.
So you know why you got that dent and you live. That's my only Christopher Walken line. Anyway.
Thank you. Yeah.
There's the scratches. Yeah, those are offensive to me.
If your touch-up skills were this bad, would you have just said, I'm going to just leave the scratches?
Yeah, I would have taken out the wet drive sandpaper and tried to make it better, which probably would have made it worse. So maybe they cut their losses before I would have, but
I think this looks like Revlon nail polish.
I've used nail polish to cover some sins. I'm not proud.
All right, now it's time to make a prediction on this car.
The way I try to assess value is very haphazard. It's like the way I live the rest of my life. I looked it up in AI. I said, hey, AI, what do you think of a 97 SL500? And AI went, I don't know, $5,400? Vince thinks it's worth 10K. And I said, all right, well, I still think that's low. So I went to Haggerty. And Haggerty's great, right? They have so many good tools. I'm a big fan. And so I said to Haggerty, what do you think of an SL500? And plugged all the stuff in. They think it's 12.4, also down 12.7% since July.
Ooh.
Every few years, I feel like influencers rediscover this car and they go, oh, this is the next big thing. And then it's not. Nobody thinks that these cars are worth a ton of money. And that's why I believe this car will sell for 12.
That's fair. In this car's defense, I have a good friend who has a number of fun cars. He also has, it might be a 97 or 98 SL in black. And it's his favorite car to drive. He has much better cars to drive. And he always chooses the SL. I guess it's a combination of the quality of the vehicle and the ease of ownership. So that's not going to add a ton of value because all the data points you're referencing are realistic. I'm going to take your 12. What'd you say? 12.5.
I said 12 flat, like 12 even.
And I'm going to up that by $4,500. I think this is going for 16.5. Well, that doesn't look so good.
No, that looks a little grimy.
Grimy. You know, Windex would take that off, I bet. The reason I went to bring a trailer is that because this is a 40th anniversary car. If you go to Edmunds is not going to segregate out the 40th anniversary cars versus the run-of-the-mill cars. I knew that I would find 40th anniversary comps on Bring a Trailer. That's why I come in at 16.
I like the thought process and the logic for sure. I do. But the condition of this car, in my opinion, it's the condition of a used car, not a collector car.
Not worthy, no nuts. What do you think?
I mean, an R129 is not worthy if it's the right car or the right price.
I would say no. I give no nuts on this car just because they're pretty common, and I think they're one.
Give me a Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper, and I'm in a real hurry. All right.
It's like Jackie Gleason's in the room right now.
Well, a sandwich because the car you've been waiting for is our Chevy powered Diablo Replica.
That's a mouthful.
Diablo sandwich is a mouthful.
That better make the final cut. It's happening.
And I learned a lot looking through this. John, your gut reaction to kit car.
Bring a trailer park?
Whoa. Whoa. It comes out swinging. Yes. This is a Chevy V8 powered Lamborghini Diablo Replica 5-speed. This is on Bring a Trailer. It's in Wallingford, Connecticut. It's parked in front of a replica White House, I believe.
With the theme.
Let's talk a little bit about what this car is all about. It is a fiberglass replica made by a company called D&R Replicars. I had not heard of them before this. I don't know that much about fake Lamborghinis, but what I saw was an interesting car that I believe is built well. The first thing I'm going to ask you, Don.
Yes.
Take a good look at this and take a good look at this. This is a real Diablo. This is a fake Diablo. Again, take a look at this. Ignore the White House in the background.
Yeah, ignored. It looks somewhat like the original.
Somewhat. I think it has the right proportions.
It does. Honestly, it looks very, very similar. And I think if the real one wasn't parked next to the ersatz one, you could get away with saying, yeah, this is my Lamborghini. What chassis is this built on?
I'm glad you asked. It's a tube chassis that D&R Replicars makes. Let's see if there are any photos of the chassis.
Oh, okay. That reminds me of something that I read. I'm going to tell it now if I can.
Go ahead.
Do you see the casters?
Did you see the video of the casters?
I did not watch the video, but those casters are amazing. They have the ability to make the hydraulic. We're going to lift the front up so we don't hit curbs and stuff. But they had casters in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Go ahead, lift it up, go. Oh, no.
It doesn't actually lift it up. What it does is, if you come to a speed bump, those would make contact before your splitter, and it would then raise your car over. I think that's a pretty elegant solution.
Yeah, but now your imitation Lamborghini is a shopping cart with no way to steer because the front wheels are off the ground.
You wanted to know about the chassis. Let's take a look at this tubular chassis here. And it's square section tubing. You see these? This is a real...
We're tubing, all right.
What? What are you laughing about?
It's a hard... Listen, even being dead serious about this car, the best thing, it brings a smile to your face, right? Because it's fun or it's funny. I don't know which, but yeah, it's well done. That I'm not joking about. It's definitely well done. It does not look like a high school shop class put this together.
Correct. A lot of the Fiero Lamborghinis absolutely look obviously fake because the wheelbase is off. The proportions are off. Oh, here's something I really didn't like. If they went through all this trouble, they could have found an air box that would have brought in ambient temperature air rather than that sitting in the back. This car doesn't get a lot of airflow to the engine compartment being in the back. And this air cleaner is just going to suck in very hot air.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also would have bought a Lamborghini. No. When we're talking about the engine bay and the engine that's inside here, the car looks amazing. The chassis looks really cool. But honestly, this is where it's letting it down, right? The other point that I'm looking at as we're going through the pictures is, tell me about the transmission.
Well, I'm glad you asked, John. So this is actually a transaxle that was removed from an Audi. I'm not sure which Audi.
It's an Audi 5000. Let me be. There's a company that makes an adapter from a Chevy 350 to an Audi 5000 5-speed transmission.
Kennedy.
They're really busy.
Kennedy Engineering. Kennedy Engineering, I'm sure, has a backlog of orders for people waiting to make their GM to Audi dreams come true.
I mean, money laundering. Let's be honest here.
I think it's a good looking car.
It is. Lamborghini did a great job. And there was a comment made about the headlights. Somebody said, oh man, the 300ZX headlights were a great choice. Guess I responded to nobody when I read that. But I thought to myself, yeah, it was so good that Lamborghini did the same thing.
Correct.
But the person that made that comment, I don't think knew that.
Yeah, this guy here said, Daniel said, can anyone weigh in as to what headlights would have been better than the 300Z? And then the seller posts the link to Car Scoop. Did the Lamborghini Diablo really have Nissan headlights? Yep.
Sure did. But I think, what does a fake Lamborghini sell for? And how do you assess a value?
Well, so when we talk about assessing a value on a kit car, one of the things that I'm never clear on with kit cars is the whole idea of a VIN. And this car is VIN-ish. It doesn't quite have a VIN. It has a serial number of sorts. It says VIN.
That was just the guy who built it.
Vintonio. Something else, and I'm going to allege some malfeasance here.
Okay.
The car has a California title. But a Connecticut registration. So
fake White House. Like, why would you not think that stuff is going on? In
Yes.
the comments, I don't know if you saw this or you were going to mention it, but people were talking, and this is sort of adjacent to the value or the precursor to what we're going to, but somebody, maybe more than a couple people, were saying, if it's bought right, you could always put a V12 in it. That other replicas have had BMW V12s, which are to be had not terribly expensively. How much money would I have to save to go through that? That process of cobbling together. Ooh, GM switchgear.
Is that the ignition? That's really
the ignition is offensive to me, and then the wiper stock out of my mom's '88 Regal is also offensive to me. But what do I know? I'm not buying this thing.
The Regal.
That is definitely an '88 Buick Regal. Is that the e-brake? There's a pistol grip shifter. It looks very.
It is a shifter, because if you go back here, the e-brake is alongside. It's in the door sill.
Sure. So nope, somebody put a Hunt Wild grip on the gear shift.
I like the interior. I think this interior rivals Lamborghinis of the period.
Somewhere Balboni is rolling in his grave, but is he dead? Did he pass away?
If not, he's
not feeling well.
Yeah, I do not like this shifter because it looks like a parking brake. Did you know that, John, there's apparently an entire industry of fake Lamborghinis? Look, this was posted on Facebook 4 days ago. Somebody's got a whole load of Countach shells.
It's an interesting turn of phrase, the way you described it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, who doesn't want to look like they drive a Lamborghini when they don't?
There's one for $3,500.
Nobody could tell the difference. All right, so look, it all comes, in my mind, in my opinion, it all comes down to the price. Because if you're telling me I'm only saving 30% over an authentic Lamborghini, then I'm out. I don't. Oh God, please stop my eyes. What are you doing? That's not great.
You don't like the flares?
No.
Look at the bicycle.
That's fine. Yeah, they live in Florida. How would they not?
John.
Oh my God, that's even worse. What is going on? I think that's the same car that anyone have headlights for Murcielago? Yeah, just go to your Nissan dealer. Oh wait, that's not the right. That's the Diablo.
All right,
Oh no! Why would you show me that? Timu, Batman just called. That's not great. I mean, they didn't even change out the Fiero wheels. I don't know that those headlights are aimed correctly.
That's the issue. At the beginning of the show, we were looking at that other fake Lamborghini, and you said, if somebody really wants to stand out. I think somebody really wants to stand out. This is the car.
I never thought that the Kawasaki green Lamborghini wouldn't be the worst thing that I've seen all day.
These plexiglass windscreens are made for speed. I mean,
oh yeah. All right. So tell me about the value of Big Red.
Currently at 65.5. There's been quite a bit of action in the comments and bids, and everything's been complimentary. I feel that this car is going to go at least another 12 grand higher. I put down my prediction at 77,750.
I don't ever want to own it, but I like it because for that much money, all I think about are all the real cars that are out there, and that's my bias towards kit cars. But fine. But in the last 12 months, 2 V12 reps, kit cars have sold for 140 and 146, but those are V12s. And so I backed out what I thought a V12 conversion would cost for this car. And I came up with about $105,000. Everybody was ridiculously complimentary of this Replica. Look, he's at the White House. It's huge.
That's what my Italian family would say when you pull up on this thing. Oof, where'd you get that?
I don't know. So here might be a hot take. Diablos are my least favorite Lamborghini. I was always told that they don't drive very well. I don't.
Prices have gone crazy on them. All right, so real Diablo prices, just to keep everybody in check, they have gone bonkers. This is a VT 6-liter, sold for almost 900,000. This 18,000 mile eggplant car, which I think is gorgeous, despite what you think, 600. That's a VT also.
I like aubergine.
But here's the bargain. All right, let's not go down a rabbit hole because I know we're supposed to be looking at something else. All right, we made our predictions on these. Next episode, we're going to see how close John or I got to the actual selling prices.
What's on the table here? What are we? If I win, what do I get? And if you win, what do you get?
If you win, I will get you a new microphone.
Ooh, that's nice.
But if I win, what do I get?
You get Philly
cheesesteaks are so overrated. I think they're sloppy and awful. Sorry.
a microphone situation.
I don't know. I would love for you to detail one of my cars.
That's fine. I can do that remotely. No problem. We'll figure something out.
So one of the reasons John and I make these predictions is because we are enthralled with this website called BidFinite. And BidFinite is a fantasy sports site where you make fantasy predictions on auctions, like the auctions that you and I look at. So, you know, we can find Hemmings, Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bid auctions, and they're all listed here in real time.
All of my friends that like sports have fantasy sports where they get to hang out with their friends and they make predictions based on stats. I was always a little jealous of that because I don't really care about football or baseball. And so I didn't really get to participate, but now there's BidFinite. It's fantasy sports for car guys, where we get to look at the things that we enjoy and we get to flex our knowledge about automobiles.
Here's an event that's active right now. The event is Barbarians at the Gate. And when the event ends, you get a score. Thanks to Johnny Beata and the Tap Dance Kid.
God, why does everybody walk right above me? It wouldn't be a YouTube channel if we didn't say like, share, and subscribe. And send this to your friends if they like cars as much as you or I like cars.
And thank you to everybody who's subscribed already. We have a growing audience. We're really shocked that this many people blow a whole hour listening to us yap on about the cars. But thank you.
Definitely thank you.
And as always, speed safely.
We'll see you next week.
We weren't recording.
Shut up. I've been watching it the whole time.